Okay, this is the first of what will be 3 video lectures on substance abuse for my Introduction to Psychology classes. You need to treat these lectures just like in-class kind of lectures. I want you to take notes on this stuff. You can obviously stop and start this kind of as you want. And I'm going to be sending these to you with an assignment where I'm going to ask you to turn in a copy of your notes. The due date and all the specifications will be on the email. But this is stuff that you'll be responsible for the exam as well. I know we've missed a couple classes, depending on which class this is, 1 to 2 classes. So this will kind of help make up for that. And this is stuff I wanted to cover anyway, and that fits very nicely within the framework of this mental health disorder unit that we're doing. Now, substance abuse problems are a part of this unit on mental health disorders. There are specific substance abuse related disorders that we can talk about and will talk about as we progress through the unit. But first of all, some basic facts about drugs and society. In the United States, millions of lives are impacted every day by drug use and abuse. And we'll differentiate between use and abuse here in just a few minutes. Billions of dollars are spent on purchasing illegal drugs every single year in this country, and billions of dollars are spent by our government every year to fight illegal drugs. So it's a big problem, and I know you guys being in high school, I'm sure you've sat through more than one discussion or lecture or special topics, guest speaker, whoever, talking about illegal drugs and alcohol abuse. Now, some more facts about drugs in society. In the United States, billions are spent every year on rehabilitating users and abusers. And that's something that is a point of discussion or can be even up for debate. A lot of, especially in the prison system, a lot of times these substance abuse rehabilitation programs that are funded by taxpayer dollars, by the way, don't really seem to help a lot of people in terms of the type of offender that reoffends the most. When you look at property criminal offenders, sex offenders, violent offenders, it's your drug offenders that tend to go back to prison more than any other type of offender, if we're talking specifically about the prison system. Also, we know that a lot of times people will relapse. In other words, they will fall back into their pattern of using and abusing illegal drugs. I would have a definition of relapse in your notes somewhere, by the way. So to relapse, again, simply means that the person falls back into that pattern of using and or abusing illegal drugs after they've stopped using for a while. So that is an issue as well. It's estimated that illegal drug use, dependence, and acquisition play a part in approximately 75% of all crimes in this country. And I can speak specifically for myself, working within the West Virginia Division of Corrections with my company, working in the prison system. Easily 90% of all the crimes revolve around illegal drugs and or alcohol possession, distribution, use, intoxication. Somehow drugs and alcohol are in play. I would say easily 9 out of 10, or 90% of the inmates that I deal with personally. So where do the problems with drug abuse and dependence begin? Well, you might think maybe high school, perhaps. Well, actually, younger than that. It starts with the youth of society, actually with children, younger than you guys, younger than you are watching this video. I know a lot of you probably can think back to your grade school days and your middle school days. You probably knew of people who were using or even selling illegal drugs. Maybe you are one of those people who began experimenting or using illegal drugs. Many youth begin experimenting with drugs from their parents' medicine cabinets. They just go through their parents' drawers, medicine cabinets, and just start experimenting. Take it to their friends at school. Many youth begin experimenting with drugs also obtained by their friends on the streets. They're hanging out, maybe even in the schools. They just kind of trade around and just kind of start experimenting with different drugs. According to self-report surveys in the United States, more than half of all high school seniors have tried illegal drugs. So we're right in your wheelhouse. We're talking about people your age, and you guys are experts. You would probably know this more than I because you are in high school. I think based on what I know from statistics and my experiences in a lot of different high schools, I'd say that's probably accurate. I'd say that's pretty good. And more than 75% of all high school seniors have consumed alcohol. And again, unfortunately, that seems to be about right to me as well. I'm a little older than you guys, but I remember being in high school, and I would say probably most of my friends, with the exception of myself and maybe one other person, had smoked marijuana. I would certainly say at least 75% of my peers and even my close friends had consumed alcohol by the time they were seniors. So these numbers hold up statistically as well. Research will back this up, and it does seem to be true. So those are some pretty staggering numbers. I would just kind of have those in your notes as well. Maybe kind of hard to see this. I'll send some of these slides to you separately so you can kind of look at them more closely, but you can probably pause this and look at it. Past year, use of illicit drugs and pharmaceuticals among 12th graders. If you look right here in the blue, we're talking about illicit drugs. Illicit means illegal, okay? That's all that means. Pharmaceutical drugs on the bottom in the orange, we're talking about drugs that can be prescribed by a doctor, physician, or psychiatrist. So what you're going to find is that among 12th graders, we're talking about seniors in high school, 36, if you can't see that, I'll read it off to you, 36.4% of all high school seniors reported smoking marijuana. 11.3%, right below that, of high school seniors reported using synthetic marijuana. Now, as far as the pharmaceuticals, again, these are drugs that can be prescribed. You can get these legally through a doctor's prescription, include Adderall, Vicodin, cough medications, tranquilizers, and you can kind of read down and see the statistics there. This information comes from a study from the University of Michigan, 2012. And we'll go ahead and stop this here, call this the end of the first part of the substance abuse lecture. Thank you.